Hello. One of the things you might want to do when setting up your Atlas workspace is change the release settings for feedback and grading. The reason for this is most often people want control to release feedback to all students at the same time. Now, if everything's left at default, that's fine. You can still release feedback to all students at the same time. But if you've got less experienced markers, possibly going in and commenting and working on students' work and marking students' work, there are some things you can do to make sure that by accident nobody releases grades or feedback before all students are ready. So I'm now in the management area of the Atlas site that I'm wanting to work with, and I'm going to click on this button here, the feedback. So if you click on that, you will then get something that looks like this. And with all these tabs at the bottom, and again, feel free to click on these and have a look. But for what we're looking for this tab here, feedback settings. And if you click on that, you've got these first couple of options here. So as you can see, when an assignment is playing, use the following feedback settings. So you've got the options of making it so the feedback is released immediately. As default, it's set up to let the assessor decide, and you can change that to whether release feedback now is pre-selected or release feedback now is not pre-selected, depending on the workflow that you're wanting people to use. And then this bottom one, which is assessor cannot release their own feedback. Feedback is stored for all assessed work until released by the lead tutor or user with equivalent permissions. So that is the option you select if you're wanting to make sure you're just reducing the chance. Basically, when people are marking in Atlas, it removes the ability to accidentally release the feedback to the students because they can't do it from that point. The only place where you'll be able to release the feedback to the students after you've selected these options is in the submissions, and I'll show you that at the end of this screencast. So yes, so we've selected that, and then below you've got when an assignment is paused or the revision deadline has passed, use the following feedback settings. And again, the way that we work at Sheffield Hallam, the same applies. So even though the deadline's passed and people are now in the marking phase, you still don't want those marks to be released to students in drips and drabs. You're wanting them to be released for everybody at the same time. You've got exactly the same options, and you're wanting that bottom option there. Assessors cannot release their own feedback. So anyone going in to assess can't accidentally release that feedback. Now you do have other questions and options of things that you can alter about comments, anonymizing feedback and things like that. By all means, again, look through, but you don't, again, as default, the way that we set things up, you don't have to look at that. And then when you're all done, you want to hit save at the bottom. So that's now successfully saved, and you've changed the feedback settings. So so students don't get their marks early, basically. Now, anybody who's on the Blackboard module site that's set up as an assessor has access to the Atlas site and can still release the feedback. So if you're a module lead or something like that, and you think, well, what if I'm away or what if I'm poorly at the point when the grades need releasing, anyone that has access to that Blackboard site will still be able to release the grades and marks. It's just no one will be able to do it by accident at the point of marking a student's piece of work. So if we now click on the submissions tab up at the top left hand corner, you've got here button at the top, manage feedback, and just close that. If you select, so I'm going to just tick the box at the top here and select all my submissions, and then if I click on manage feedback up at the top, it's then automatically selected to say release feedback to the authors, so the students. Hit continue, and then you'll release the feedback for all students all at the same time. And that's everything. I hope you found that helpful. Thank you.